Hi YouTube family, this is Sid coming back with another video. Um, it's a cat. Anyway, Holy Spirit help me. What's going on, young lady? There we go. I don't know exactly how to say what I'm saying, but there's been a lot of things on the internet that I've been seeing, and you know, it seems like I've been looking at a lot of these videos regarding these entertainers and how these entertainers are selling their souls to Satan, and they're admitting it. I mean, they're just being blatant, admitting that, they've sold their souls, or they've had people offed, um, unalive. I think that's a term that people on YouTube are using. They're having people, taken care of in order to move up or become more famous or more popular or make more money. But then you have these entertainers who are not just talking about selling their souls, but they are out there dressing like the devil. They're doing these whatever ceremonies at these concerts or at these award ceremonies. We are living in some times right now. We're living in some interesting times. And if you have children and your children are listening to these entertainers, they're listening to this rap, or they're listening to this, hip hop, whatever you want to call it. And by listening to it, believe me, the subconscious mind is picking up everything. That's why they talk about subliminals. You have to be careful what goes into your ears. Also be careful what goes in front of the eyes. But if you're listening to all that mess over, and over again, it starts to become a part of you. See, there's going to come a day where we are going to have to choose. It's going to be good and evil. We're going to have to choose. You know, I'm going to read a Bible verse because the Holy Spirit gave me something to read. But I'm just trying to explain this as best I can with my understanding. When I was a little girl, maybe around the age of 6, 7 years old, I remember going to Michigan and spending the holidays, I think it may have been Thanksgiving, with my grandmother. And my grandmother, and this is my paternal grandmother, my father's mom, and my grandmother and my auntie, my father's sister, and my dad, and maybe somebody else, I don't know. I just remember, for some reason, I remember me being the only child at the table. I don't know if I was just being bad and they made me sit with them. I don't know. But I just remember listening to them talk about the end times and the Antichrist and how horrible it's going to be at that time. And see, my grandmother was a religious woman. I mean, and I don't even want to just say religious. My grandmother was a spiritual woman. Yeah, she was religious. She followed, man's, religion. But she also had a relationship with God and Jesus. And she truly, it was interesting because we always said that if nobody else could get a message to God or Jesus, grandmother could. So I remember those conversations, and I just remember thinking, I'm going to see that time. 6 years old, but I felt in my spirit, you're going to see that time. So, Matthew 13, verse 24 through 30 was given to me. But also we have Matthew 13, verse 36 through 43. It's the parable of the wheat and weeds. And it's interesting information about the weeds, or they call it the tares. Hold on 1 second. Let me tell you. So in the encyclopedia, it says the tares, the darnel or the darnel seed. And it's a weed which grows among grain, particularly wheat. And this weed resembles wheat in its initial state. So in the beginning, as the weeds and the wheat are growing together, the weeds almost look like wheat. But as it matures, you can tell there's a distinction, there's a difference between the two. So I thought that was interesting information. So let me go ahead and read, and it's titled Parable of the Wheat and Weeds. Here is another story that Jesus told. The kingdom of heaven is like a farmer who planted good seed in his field. But that night, as the workers slept, his enemy came and planted weeds among the wheat, then slipped away. When the crop began to grow and produce grain, the weeds also grew. The farmer's workers went to him and said, "Sir, the field where you planted that good seed is full of weeds. Where do they come from?" "An enemy has done this," the farmer exclaimed. "Should we pull out the weeds?" they asked. "No," he replied. "You'll uproot the wheat if you do. Let both grow together until the harvest. Then I will tell the harvester to sort out the weeds, tie them into bundles, and burn them, and put the wheat in the barn." Moving on to verse 36. It's titled, Parable of the Wheat and Weeds Explained. Then, leaving the crowds outside, Jesus went into the house. His disciples said, "Please explain to us the story of the weeds in the field." Jesus replied, "The Son of Man is the farmer who plants the good seed. The field is the world, and the good seed represents the people of the kingdom. The weeds are the people who belong to the evil one. The enemy who planted the weeds among the wheat is the devil. The harvest is the end of the world, and the harvesters are the angels. Just as the weed or weeds are sorted out and burned in the fire, so it will be at the end of the world. The Son of Man will send his angels, and they will remove from his kingdom everything that causes sin and all who do evil. And the angels will throw them into the fiery furnace, where there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. Then the righteous will shine like the sun in their Father's kingdom. Anyone with ears to hear should listen and understand." That time is among us. That time is here. We're going to have to decide, you guys. Good, bad. Good, evil. God, Satan. Who are you going to choose? Don't forget to like, and don't forget to thumbs up.